Hi, my name is Alexander Eberhage. I'm the director and creator of Galacta Raider. It's a science fiction film about a cosmic archaeologist who lives in a society where people are told that they don't have a past, but he makes a discovery that could alter the future.
You've made some videos in the past. Is this your first short film narrative wise?
Yeah, I think I had done some music videos before, but I guess this is like my first like narrative. Yeah.
How long did it take for you to film this? Because I believe you were working on it for a while, weren't you?
The film took a year to make just because of all of the things I had to learn in order to make it, like, learning visual effects and trying to learn practical effects. And I started it during the beginning of the pandemic because, I thought I would have some time on my hands and because I knew like we would probably be in this for a while. And it was during virtual learning, in the schools. And that would go from 8 to 12, and then the entire afternoon I would have free. So then I would start working on the film. So the film took a year to make just because of all the things I had to learn to do in order to put the film together, like, creating visual effects and practical effects. And that just took lots of time.
Not only the practical effects in there, but I imagine you also made items, props, things like that as well. So you're making your practical effects, you're making props, costuming as well.
Yeah.
And so you got costuming, maybe some minor set work because a lot of it's in front of a green screen too, right?
Yeah.
So did you have a crew doing all those things or was it just you?
Yeah, it was just me, just because it was during the beginning of the pandemic, and I was just trying to stay safe, and I had to end up doing it all, and doing the building like miniature models, right, for some of those sequences, and then figuring out how to light them, and then also doing the visual effects and post production, and and then designing the costumes. So everything was trying to I was really inspired by Blade Runner, right, and films like that created a visual world, and all these items like props and costumes helped ground that world in reality. So I built a lot of items and props for this film to try to create its own reality, and to make it feel real. So I really designed a lot of these parts. There's like a gas station scene, and in that I designed the gas meter and everything. So I really came from a prop building background before I got into film. Just building like some of my favorite props for movies. So, I wanted to bring that aspect into the production for this film, because that's kind of one of my main interests in the film process.
You shot this primarily from a green screen, right? But there's a sequence that's clearly in the desert. Where was
Yeah.
that filmed?
Yeah, that was filmed. So there was a family road trip scheduled, and it was right during the time when I needed to film that sequence. And I didn't know how I was going to pull that off because I wanted these, large landscapes and things. And, on the green screen, it just wouldn't sell, it wouldn't look real. And so I heard we're going to South Dakota. So, and the Badlands is there. So, I packed my costume and the whole Galacta Raider uniform, and I brought a tripod, and I just got some shots there. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. And I think that sequence added much more to the film and helped it uh, feel more real because it was a real location, and that location and all the locations around that area, like in Wyoming, they have Devil's Tower from Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and it was just a real location. So it was like stepping out of the green screen world and now going acting in front of like a real place was a lot of fun.
Is that the only on location shoot of your film, or the rest of it was all green screen?
There was a one sequence. I think there's parts of that Badlands sequence that were shot in by the lake in Milwaukee. There's like a part where I'm walking kind of past like a patch of grass, and that was shot here. But the rest of it was shot in the Badlands, and then the rest of the movie was either shot in the car, and I would just use like a rear screen projection, do the rear screen projection, and would have like backgrounds behind me, or I would, kind of reflect that onto the car to kind of make it seem as though buildings are passing by. But a lot
So,
of that was either a miniature or like a matte painting.
so when you say rear screen projection, you actually projected that behind you when you shot it?
Well, like I projected from the front basically, but I guess I was using the same technique, but so like I would kind of have it was a real car, but then there was a miniature version of the car, and then that's what I used, and then I used the interior of like a different car, right? And then I would put the projector on top of the car, and then project the background kind of like behind the car, and then it would kind of give that illusion, but yeah.
I'm just wanted to clarify. You are, because rear screen projection, you're projecting onto a screen and that's behind the actor, and you did that similar effect too. You had an actual screen there and project. Okay, it wasn't
Yeah,
a green screen shot. Okay.
there were some green screen shots, like there's a montage where he's flying past things, but then there's a sequence where he's kind of listening into like a TV monitor on in his car, and that's all rear screen or front screen, I guess, projection. And then there's just like rain and fog between that, so then you kind of got your car here and then the screen here, and it kind of blends it all. Yeah.
Is sci-fi your favorite genre?
I love science fiction because you're able to kind of, I guess, do commentary on things going on in our reality, but it's kind of hidden in the subtext. You can still make points and have messages about what's going on in modern times, but it's just hidden. And just all the gadgets and props and that whole world building aspect of, films like Blade Runner, Ghostbusters, I'm really intrigued by that.
Do you plan to stay in that genre or work in other genres?
Yeah, I plan to stay in science fiction, but I do want to explore other genres. I think one of the aspects of this film that works is like the emotional connection to it, and the some of those moments in the film. And I do want to explore that in other genres too, and having that kind of emotional touch to the film. Not so that it's not simply, a sci-fi or action film, so that it has some depth to it. Yeah.
Okay, what's your next project?
I have a couple of projects lined up, and they're both science fiction films, but I'm saving them for college because I plan to study film, this September, at DePaul in Chicago, and so I'm gonna go study production design, industrial design, and directing, just so that I'm really interested in a design aspect, but I also want to learn more about directing and collaborating. So yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Well, thank you for being here today.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
You're welcome. And do you have any parting words about your film that might get people interested in seeing it for the festival?
I think this film encourages people to look into themselves, to honor their cultural roots and ancestry. And I think it ends on, uh, an empowering message and, inspiring one. So I hope you can come see it and kind of experience the science fiction world, but also kind of seeing some of the messages in it and how it might relate to our society.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks.